Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks, and welcome to my first Portuguese walk around video in a town here in central Portugal, not far from the coast, a place called Bombarral. I'm going to turn the camera around, go for a bit of a walk so you guys can check out what towns are like in this part of the world. So let's go. Now the first thing we're going to notice in this town is that there's a lot of old buildings that are a bit run down, and a lot of construction work going on, as we can see here. Over here we have the Municipal Park, which is a green space bang smack in the center of this town. So we'll go for a walk around there and work our way down to the main square where all of the businesses are. I think first we'll go up here and then we'll take a right and follow that park around. So let's go. Now we're in a town of around 4,500 people, I think, as I said, in central Portugal, about an hour north of Lisbon. We'll see that quite a lot in Portugal, little dogs sticking their noses through the gate. So around an hour north of Lisbon, 2.5 hours south of Porto, roughly. And this is what life is like in these small towns. Over there, another building that's seen better days, Casa do Povo. And the different type of businesses that we've got. Gas bottles. A lot of people here would be on gas bottles, not on natural gas yet, I imagine. Good business still. And we can see here some of the things that we've got. We've got a market where I started the video, football ground, train station, and the center of the city, which is where we'll finish the video today. So, first sight to see here, and it is the local church. Got to be careful crossing crosswalks here because cars tend not to stop, or it's difficult for them to stop. Cars think that they have the right to do everything here in Portugal, and pedestrians are secondary. A mistake in my opinion, but difficult to change that mentality. Now what we're going to see is a lot of butcher shops, one over there for example, lots of coffee shops. So we've got a butcher shop there, and one thing that you'll notice is that we're not going to see many fishmongers. Even though we're only 20k from the coast, fish here difficult to buy unless you go to the market, or unless you go to a supermarket, or unless you catch it yourself. Another abandoned building. As I said, we're going to see a few of those here. But over here we've got lively businesses that are up and running. Rosa Charme. Don't know what type of business it is, but that's what we're dealing with here in this part of Portugal. Now, what do we got here? This is a former restaurant, Casa de Pasto, I think. Sala de Almorzos, so that's where the lunches were taken back in the day, but again, a building that is completely shut down. All right, scooters. A lot of people getting around on scooters now in Portugal. Very popular means of transport. One thing I like about Portugal is the colours. Lots of buildings have interesting colour schemes, as we can see here. This house. Different to the common white houses that you'll see, as we can see one over there. And another house that's interesting, look at that one with the tiles, the green tiles there. Interesting to see. All right, let's keep going. Coffee shop number 2 or 3, don't know how many we've come across so far, but very popular pastime here in Portugal is people drinking coffee. I read somewhere that the average Portuguese person drinks about 7 or 8 coffees a day. It might be an exaggeration, but that's what I read. And from what I've seen, I reckon it's true. Now, another old building. Let's keep on going down here. So we can get around this car. So it's sort of a mix of old and places that have been done up. This place here for sale. It's got a satellite dish there, so I don't know whether somebody's in there or not, but an interesting building. If I come across a real estate agency, we'll check out some of the prices of houses and apartments here. Now, another butcher shop over there, but that one's closed. No surprise, because of all of the competition, of course. And this building here belonging to a bank, Caixa Agrícola. That is a bank. Caixa, of course, meaning savings bank or something like that, or probably banks nowadays. But an interesting building here on the corner. Interesting architecture, I will say. Let's continue down here. The typical Portuguese stonework on the streets and sidewalks. Barbershop. Lots of barbershops popping up nowadays, I will say. Very popular business. And one of those businesses that won't be affected by artificial intelligence, of course, because people will always need to get a haircut. Now, here are some of the locals. Another coffee shop, another barber shop over there. Coffee shop in front of us, and another bank. Let's go down here. All right, what else have we got going on here? So I think this bank is the same one that we saw before, but in a more modern building, the Caixa Agrícola. Fruit and veg. Now this is a fruit and veg area. Lots of produce grown in the fields around this town. Apples, pears. Famous for pears is this area. Grapes as well. It's a wine growing area. Decent quality white wines and decent quality red wines. More property here that seems to have been abandoned. Not sure what's going on there. Being reformed. Pharmacies, another big business in towns like this. Another coffee shop here on the corner. Another coffee shop down here. Clothing stores. And some interesting tile work going on here as well in this building, which is also abandoned by the look of it, or at least the downstairs shop area is empty, probably waiting for a tenant to move in. Another business here that's closed down. Another business there that's closed down. This one's being done up, so maybe a new business moving in there. And there we have the cooperative, the agricultural cooperative of Bombarral. And if we take this street here, we'll get into the center of the city, and you can check out what the center of a typical Portuguese town in Central Portugal is like. Some of the architecture, some of the businesses. Another barber shop there, barber shops everywhere. That's a betting shop, news agency. Interesting building over there, not sure what it is. Okay, this is the center of the town because we've got the banks, Caixa Geral, Santander Tota over there, and the tourism office. We've got the tax office up there, Finanças. So if you have to pay things in Portugal, that's where you do it. If you have to pay your housing tax and things like that, that's where you come to. If you don't pay online, of course. And this is the center of Bombarral. Nice. Some fountain work going on over here. Got restaurants, opticians, another coffee shop. And this is the town hall building of Bombarral. Probably the biggest building in the town. I could be wrong, but I reckon it would be, where everything happens. Little coffee shops over there. Coffee shop, coffee shop. Takeaway food, which is closed. Another bank. Town taxis. You'll see to my right, up there is where the park begins. You can see the dense trees, the woods, if you like. Mata Municipal, the local park or forest area, as I said. Let's cross over here. What do we got over there? Loja de Sort. It's a Chinese business, I reckon. The Lucky Shop. Here you can get your taxi. There's one there. Let's keep going down here. Now you've got to be careful on these sidewalks because sometimes these little stones have fallen away or fallen out and there's holes. So you always got to be careful walking on these sidewalks or footpaths in Portugal. Alright, we've got a real estate agency over here. And as I said, we're going to check out some of the prices if we can. Let's have a look. So around 149,000 for that one, 550, 123. What else we got there? 227, 109. What else we got up there? Let's have a look. 187, 150. So that's what you're paying for property here. This is something that I like to see, people getting around on bikes. That guy probably bought that bike around 50 or 60 years ago, still going. I prefer to see people on that type of transport than those mobility scooters, but then again I understand that people have their mobility issues, but not the case of that guy there. And another bike here, look, just left, no chain, it's not locked up to anything, but again, who would want to steal that? Now, another business that has seen better days, completely bricked up are the doors and windows. So these towns sort of, as far as businesses are concerned, they come and go. They have their run and then of course they close down. Now, this is one of the wineries in the local area here, Quinta das Cerejeiras, and decent white and red wines from that place. And we'll have a look at this building over here because it's an interesting one. I'll just cross over here before that car comes. But this building next to the winery, or this house next to the winery, some type of historical value, I think, or historic value. Let's have a look. Casa Abel Pereira da Fonseca. And there we have the information. So we can see here, the winery was acquired in 1911 by Abel Pereira da Fonseca, who was one of the most important Portuguese entrepreneurs of the time, having set up in Lisbon a large network of stores selling all types of drinks and food products. In 1928, he founded Companhia Agrícola Sanguihal to manage the various estates he owned in the region. So a rich entrepreneur who set up this business here, and of course this house here included in the business. And look at that little cat there, look at the little kitty. She's off. So what else we got going on? Let's have a look. Scroll around. This building here looks interesting. Interesting architecture again. Not sure if anyone's living in there, of course, but nonetheless an interesting building that has seen better days. And that's one thing that you'll see in Portugal, a lot of buildings that need a coat of paint. Why they don't paint them, I've got no idea. Maybe it's a cost issue, no idea. But you will see lots of businesses that need someone to paint them. More banks, a banca, which is a Spanish bank from Galicia. Another business here that seems to have closed, or at least not open now. And yeah, So an interesting town, this one, very quiet. I'm sure people don't have any stress in their lives. People working in the fields, doing a hard day's graft, and then of course having a coffee or two, or maybe a beer. And then we can see we've got Óbidos, popular tourist destination, Torres Vedras, Cadaval, and of course the winery here, Adega de Bombarral. The train station, the health centre, all down there, and some supermarkets as well. And over there in front of us, again, the park. We'll go for a walk through so you guys can see what it's like. But what I will say is that it's a very dense park. Lots of trees, old trees, and a place to come and take a stroll of an afternoon. All right, bus station over there. So we'll walk up here, see if we can get into the market. So we'll walk up here, see if we can get into the park. I think there's an entrance up there, so that's where we'll go. Lots of cars parked here, of course. Difficult to find a parking spot. Another coffee shop here, which is closed down, surprisingly, for sale. So if you wanted to start a business, you could. One of the locals. All right, there's the entrance to the park up ahead. Some people going in. So go and check out the park briefly. Or park, I don't know if that's the correct word. More like forest, I would say. But we'll go in nonetheless and see what's there. Some nice park areas here. We can come and sit down on a hot day, although it doesn't get that hot here, I will say. Let's go into the park and see what's going on. All right, so we've got the entrance here to the park. Rota dos Gigantes, Route of the Giants. So that's what this park is all about with the trees. Let's have a look. Some nice flowers. And they actually have these stalls set up here for the local town festivals. You can come in here and taste the local wines and cheeses and all those things. And you can check out the trees, the giant trees in this park. Magnificent. Check this one out here. Wow. And we can see that it is a cork oak sobreiro in Portuguese. Let's see if we can find another tree or two. These places would open in the afternoon when the town festival is on. And you can come here and taste different things. As I said, wines and ciders and cheeses and other types of sausages like chorizo, the Portuguese version of chorizo. Here's another one of these cork trees. Magnificent specimen. Look at that. Wow. So the popular tree so far is the cork tree. We'll see if we can find one more variety of tree. I don't know. It could be all the same. This one here is a bay tree, as we can see, Loureiro, and this one has grown. Wow, we would have trouble getting the bay leaves off this one, I'll tell you that. So a magnificent park, or trees on display in this Parque de los Gigantes, in this Park of the Giants, the giant trees in this park. Fantastic. And it's from this park that I'm going to wrap the video up, from Bombarral, Central Portugal, around 20 minutes from the coast, the Silver Coast, around 1 hour north of Lisbon, just off the main highway. So if you're in the area, check out this city. Hope you enjoyed everything that we have seen. If you have anything to add to the conversation today, please, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego, até logo, from Bombarral.